Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be going over the top 5 Pokemon techs for this past Friday's deck profile on LuxChomp. So these Pokemon here are 5 Pokemon that I feel like could benefit your deck in terms of consistency or in terms of a certain matchup that you're looking to have a better matchup against. So without further ado, here we go. So the first one, number 5, I have is Smeargle. It's mainly used for its Portrait Pokepower, which allows you, if it's active, to look at your opponent's hand, and then you can choose a supporter card you find there and use the effects of that supporter. So this is really good because if your opponent has, like, let's say a Pokemon collector or a Cyrus in hand, right? And you have, let's say, the opposite card, right? You're able to actually develop your board state into like a way better board state because you're able to set up better, right? It's not too bad of a card other than that. The 1 retreat cost, which is good. 70 HP, which is kind of standard for a basic in that day and age. Its attack is not too bad. Tail Wrap, I don't think you'll be using it a whole lot, but the thing with that is that it does require 2 colorless energy, which means you can use double colorless energy on it. And if you hit 2 heads, it could do 40 damage, which in terms of Garchomp C, you're able to knock it out due to the ×2 weakness. So definitely a pretty good card. But yeah, it's the 5th spot on the list, as there are a lot better things. So on to number 4, we got Driftblim, FB. So the thing with this card is that it's got a couple things going for it. One, it's Psychic, which is actually pretty good because of all the Psychic weak Pokemon running around, like Machamp. There's a lot of Azelfs and Uxies being played, which, if you go to look at its attack, choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This attack does 40 damage to it and apply weakness and resistance. So with Uxie and Azelf, they both have a plus 20 weakness to Psychic, so it does 60 damage. It's just 10 damage away from being knocked out. So if you play a Crobat down, Crobat G, you're able to get that extra damage counter, and then it's a cheap prize. So it does if your opponent has 3 or less prize cards left, it does get plus 40 HP. So it is actually quite a bit of a tank. Another big pro with this is that it's weak to Dark, and Dark is not a type that's very, very heavily played. Like, there is the Sableye, which with the Impersonate attack, and then the Honchkrow G, and then like the regular Honchkrow that's being played. It's pretty much all in Sableye. So if you're playing against Sableye, chances are I probably wouldn't be playing this card down on my bench. I'd rather just not use it for the whole game. Another big pro is that it's got a resistance to colorless, which means it has an advantage, a slight advantage over Garchomp C. Other than that, it's not the best card on this list, but it does have its advantages depending on the situation that you're in, right? So without further ado, we're on to the top 3. Now these top 3, it really depends on what you're playing against, right? And what your metagame is like. If your metagame has a lot of LuxChomp, does it have a lot of Dialga Chomp, right? Or is there a lot of Mewtwo tech, right? So, like, it depends on on what your metagame is. So without further ado, the top 3 picks, they're in no particular order, are Dialga G level X, Blaziken FB level X, and Mewtwo level X. So Dialga is such a fantastic starter. Most LuxChomp lists don't play metal, but if you decide to include Dialga G in it, you can include it. I'd maybe put like 1 or 2 copies. I've also seen LuxChomp lists play like a 2-1 in Dialga line, just for more consistency. As starting with that Dialga and getting that turn 1 deafen off is actually pretty huge. The main purpose of it is its Time Crystal Pokebody, which pretty much shuts off Mewtwo, right? The next one, Blaziken FB. This is the Dialga killer. So if you're playing in a metagame with a lot of Dialga Chomp, right, it pretty much one-shots Dialga. Another big selling point on it is its Luring Flame the regular Blaziken FB, which allows you to switch your opponent's bench Pokemon, and it's now burned. So this can be crucial to shutting off, like, let's say, like a Bronzong G, or anything that has like a Poke Power, let's say like a Lumineon or a Gardevoir, right? Or even like a Uxie level X, right? So it's pretty good for disruption. And then the next up, the last one is Mewtwo. So pretty much with the Mewtwo is that it can just straight up win you a game, right? My list plays 2 Psychic Energy, right, which allows you to use its Cyburn or the Giga Burn attack, because that's, it requires 2 Psychic and a colorless. But what you want to do is you want to get Mewtwo out, and then this is like versus pretty much any SP deck, right? Mostly Sableye and LuxChomp. Yeah, just get Mewtwo, and then you want to clear your entire board, right? You want to leave Mewtwo as the only Pokemon in play, because when that happens, your opponent's just not going to be able to attack it during the whole game. So, and then you can just win just by taking all 6 prizes, or knocking out all your opponent's Pokemon, or you can win via deck out, right? So there you go. That's the top 5 techs. Like I said earlier, the Mewtwo, the Blaziken, and the Dialga. It really depends on what your metagame is like. But in 2010, I would say that the metagame is going to be mostly LuxChomp and Dialga Chomp. So I'd be more leaning towards Mewtwo and Blaziken than Dialga, but Dialga's not too bad either or. So yeah, there you go, and take care.